Brandon Nakashima to serve.
Nakashima
Ready.
in the purple or the violet at the bottom of your screen to get us underway. He won the toss and has elected to serve.
Hold.
It's going to be interesting to see. Brandon Nakashima is one of those players who's so good from the baseline. He likes to try to find the ball right in his strike zone by taking it early. And Ben Shelton is going to try to get out of his strike zone as much as he can throughout this match. I think that's going to be a big key for Brandon Nakashima as a high first serve percentage, because we know Ben Shelton likes to take some second serves and come in, likes to attack the second. But Brandon Nakashima is such a great spot server. He's always able to find a dime on the court.
Love. Nakashima.
Reasonably comfortable hold for Nakashima. Won the toss and elected to serve.
Let's game.
To a certain extent put the pressure on himself, but that's exactly what you want to do when you decide to serve yourself and then hold to love. That means you're making the running throughout the set. Your opponent's the one who's always a little bit behind on the scoreboard.
Yeah, it's an absolute packed house here on 1573. It's hard for the fans to even get in. They've held the lines. Not a seat left.
Ben Shelton to serve.
One of 6 show courts that we have here at Melbourne Park. Well, that is, if you've never seen Ben Shelton before, that's what you can expect from him. And if you haven't watched tennis in 20 or 30 years, you'll think, well, I like this. Serve and volley is still alive and well.
Yeah, Ben Shelton's such a great athlete, and this is something he's been working on nonstop in the preseason with his dad, Brian Shelton.
Hold.
Being a U.S. national coach, I spent 2 weeks in Orlando with a lot of the pros and the juniors getting ready for the season, and you saw every single practice of Ben Shelton and his dad Brian. They were working on coming forward, everything transition wise. That's what we saw, 2 points in a row where he's looking to attack when he can.
Second service that was in Australia. That was almost a boomerang. That was.
Yeah, and I feel like, you know, early on in these sets, obviously the tennis balls are brand new, so it's going to move through the air a little faster, and it's hot today as well. So he's making that ball jump up high, getting it out of the strike zone of Nakashima.
Hold.
Almost a shame that one didn't land in, but that's the kind of rally that the crowd is really going to get behind here.
30-all.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of extended rallies because Brandon's going to try to move Ben Shelton around the baseline. We see how fast Ben Shelton is. There's his dad, Brian Shelton, in the blue hat in front.
Brian, who was as high as number 55 in the world in 1992. So Ben's already outstripped him. Well, live by the sword and die by the sword. Coming into the net there, Shelton, but that was a beautiful down the line passing shot from Nakashima.
Yeah, and I think that's a positive play again from Ben Shelton, looking to come forward, using his athleticism. But once again, Nakashima is one of the best passers in the world, and we saw that forehand coming around the outside part of the ball, able to hook it back into the court. Impressive.
Break point, first of the contest.
Fault. Game.
It was a good second service, and he ran around it to take it inside out on his forehand there, the return. Shelton, and then put it wide. So, I mean, a really powerful, pacey second service, but Nakashima has picked him off there to perfection and got the early break.
Yeah, Nakashima is definitely going to make a lot of returns back in the court. So Ben Shelton knows he's going to have to play a lot of second balls. Nakashima now up a break.
Love.
We saw Ben Shelton do in that point right there was change the pace off the forehand. I was able to speak with his dad, Brian Shelton, earlier today, and I said, okay, what are you going to look to do? And he said, well, we can't go power nonstop to Nakashima because he likes the power. He likes it in the strike zone, so we're going to use some higher balls, use some slower forehands as well, and that's exactly what we saw from Shelton. Money ball there from Nakashima. Throughout 2004, that serve down the tee, he would use 42% of the time. And then he goes out wide 52% of the time. So pretty even off both sides of where he likes to go.
199 kilometers per hour. One a little bit slower, but equally effective.
Game. Nakashima.
And that one unreturnable again, 200 kilometers per hour down the tee, and Nakashima has done the whole break, whole three-step to get us underway. Leads 3-love. Absolute minimum of fuss there for Nakashima. Both of his holds there to 15. Looks very comfortable out there.
Yeah, that's one thing we know about Nakashima. He's very calm. You never see him get too negative or down. But what a day do we have here in Melbourne.
Looking at the Yarra River there, looking blue and sparkling. There's a few boats out there. You get a lot of the local schools and clubs go rowing along the Yarra River. And then Melbourne skyline in the background. An absolutely perfect day here in the Australian summer. Beautiful green grass and greenery there. You get plenty of it in Melbourne because it has its fair share of rain. We've got none of that at the moment. You can see the spectators, most of them out of the sun and under canopies. The shade's going to come across as the sun sets throughout this match. Shelton looking to get on the board here.
15 love. Fault. Wait, please. Not up.
Double bounce. Nakashima not quite getting there in time.
30 love.
He was a long way behind the baseline there, and a very well disguised drop shot by Shelton. Nakashima is such a great returner. He's already put 7 of 9 returns back in the court. You have to be a smart server against Nakashima. Mix up your paces, your spots, your spins, because as we've seen, just so many balls are going to get back in play. ...212 kilometers per hour.
Anyone can mix up spins. It's Ben Shelton. That's some serious pace. He's averaging over 200 at the moment, so that's averaging around 125 miles per hour. Last one, 132, more or less. What he needed. He needed a good, confident hold. He's in the match now.
Nakashima leads.
Yeah, once again, we saw just a change of pace. Ben Shelton hitting a big forehand, and then a little bit more shape to this one and off the court. So great changes of pace against Nakashima, a great ball striker.
I know what you mean about changing the shape, but they all look big to me. Even when he takes 10 miles per hour off it, they still look pretty big, don't they?
The forehands are coming off hot for both players right now. Interesting for me, Nakashima's 8-17 win-loss record against left-handed players at the tour level. But again, he's been out there for a while. He knows how to adjust. And he just keeps improving. One thing he's been looking to improve is being able to use the forehand a little bit more. We know how steady Nakashima's backhand is. He can literally put it anywhere on the court. But he's been looking to try to run around a bit more on the forehand, give himself a little bit more space to hit through it, more options.
There is a hold to love for Nakashima. He is 4-1 to the good in this first set.
Nakashima leads by 4 games to 1.
Shelton opting for a singlet, so no sleeves on there. It looks like an Australian rules football Guernsey, as they call them. We're here in Melbourne, and down in Victoria, half of the Australian rules football teams, it's an 18-team league, and 10 of them are based in Victoria, 9 of them in Melbourne. It's very much the hotbed of AFL, as they call it, Aussie rules.
Time.
Yeah, a lot of us Americans are still trying to figure out the AFL rules and what it's all about, because right now it's the NFL playoffs going on in the States.
Yes, indeed.
So a lot of the guys have been watching those games in the Players' Lounge. I'm a Chiefs fan, so I'm kind of hoping that we can.
Yeah, I remember you being a Chiefs
something.
fan, and I'm a Bills fan. So yes, we tend to fall out about the same time every year. You smile and I don't.
Hold.
Ben Shelton looking to try to find a little bit of a rhythm here. He lost in Auckland first round last week to Jakob Bensic, a very tough competitor from the Czech Republic. So doesn't have a lot of matches under his belt, only the one for Shelton. So looking for a rhythm.
That's right, you get plenty of players for whom that is the case. They have one match, one loss. And they come into a tournament like this, and they really are trying to play themselves into a bit of form. Those who are lucky enough to play the United Cup, they obviously had a number of group matches.
And it's interesting how players decide what to do early on in the year. You know, Ben Shelton said, hey, I want a little bit more time here at home in Orlando, so that's why he waited to come to Auckland. Whereas for Brandon Nakashima, he went over to Hong Kong the first week of the year, lost first round to Senego. Then he went to Adelaide, where he won a round against Hoffman, and then lost to Hijikata 7-6 in the third. So everyone kind of has a different idea of how they want to start their year and where they want to go.
Picked that one up very well there, so he decided to come into the net, and after that, once you've committed, you really have committed. And that's the way he likes to come into the net, hold to love.
Nakashima leads by 4
Speaking
games
with
to
Brian
2.
Shelton earlier today, he said sometimes Ben starts a little bit slow. He almost needs to get punched in the mouth before he starts to get going, and it looks like, you know, getting down this early break, now he's starting to try to bring a little bit more energy. But Brandon Nakashima, only 23 years old, is an extreme pro.
Yes, different personalities as well. Shelton trying to G himself up here. Nakashima, a picture of calmness.
Yeah, Brandon Nakashima, he is just so cool, calm, and collected. It's crazy to think that he's only 23 years old. With his how positive he is, every single point, doesn't get down on himself. Yeah, Ben Shelton's return placement in 2024, 50% of the time he would hit the first serve return down the middle of the court, and on the second serve 54% of the time. So that's something that a lot of players look at And as a server, you know it's going to come there, and Brandon did a great job of getting around that ball. And the reason that you return down the middle of the court is try to give the server less angle. And that's exactly what happened there. Great depth from Shelton. Brandon Nakashima didn't really get around the ball enough, or enough space, and that's why he missed it.
It was a perfect illustration there, that second service return. They did go back right down the middle, and it can catch the server a little bit flat-footed.
Also as a returner, I mean, sometimes you just want to kind of go for the big part of the court, get yourself into the point, right? And Shelton's such a great athlete. That's why he hits it down the center, then he starts running. But Brandon Nakashima has been so consistent so far throughout this first set. Impressive.
Another comfortable hold for Nakashima, and Shelton is going to have to serve to stay in the first set. He finds himself 5-2 down. Out come the new balls, 6 of them being rolled around there by the ball kids. You change balls after every 9 games, and for those of you going 2 + 5 makes 7. That is indeed the case, but the warm-up counts as 2 because the balls are hit around for a good 10 minutes. So that takes 2 games worth of life out of the balls. So you have new ones every 9 games. We're going to have new ones for Shelton to serve with as he tries to stay in this first set. Beautiful view of some of the courts here at Melbourne Park. The train's going past. There's a tram stop.
Time.
Tram stops at Rod Laver Arena. You can see the tram there in green and white to the right. Very easy to get around. All of the sporting facilities here are incredibly easy to get to. The Formula One circuit is just a little tram ride away, and you can right in the heart of the city if you want to come and watch tennis, Formula One, football, all kinds of sports.
Again, sometimes as a passer, you just kind of hit a pass to your opponent, make them have to volley, and then you'll get the right ball to then go for. So Brandon was very patient with the first 2 passing shots, hit it to Shelton, and Shelton kind of fluffed one, and Brandon Nakashima found it. I feel like, for my money, this is one of my favorite courts, 1573. That feels like the fans are right on top of the court. It brings so much energy to all the players.
Curls that one down the tee and away from the backhand of his right-handed opponent. Doesn't matter which side of the line it clips, as long as it clips the line. 2-5, 30 all. So Nakashima just 2 points away from taking the set here. And an unforced error from Shelton sets up a break point. That is synonymous with a set point. Gutsy play there from Shelton, set it up, pounded away at the backhand of Nakashima, then changed sides.
Yeah, it was good patience there from Shelton. Just kind of gave the forehand a little bit more shape, waited till one floated, then he went for the corner.
Back to juice.
Out.
What a second service that was.
Advantage, Shelton.
Those look very close to the line, didn't they?
Yeah, that's what Shelton's almost having to do against Nakashima. Nakashima's just been so consistent from the baseline that, and Shelton's trying to find a chink in the armor.
Advantage, Shelton.
Game going into its 5th minute. That's the longest game we've had so far. It's the first time we've had any juices as well. Nakashima's held very comfortably and Shelton was broken quite convincingly to open.
Oh, Brandon Nakashima can do no wrong on the passing shots. It's definitely one of those things where Brandon Nakashima went to bed knowing that Ben Shelton was going to try to come in as much as he could, when he could. So you start visualizing those passing shots when you're sleeping, and sure enough, Nakashima has been able to find the spots.
Advantage, Shelton.
Clever kick services from Shelton, trying to keep Nakashima guessing. And he holds after a 16-shot rally, 3 juices. Manages to stay alive in this set, but now Nakashima
leads by 5 games to 3.
Yeah, if there's any side that you want to target more on Nakashima, it would maybe be the forehand. The backhand is just so money. So it looks like Ben Shelton's going to try to mix up a little bit more slice, a little bit more pace to the forehand side of Nakashima, but Nakashima will be serving for the first set here. hasn't done too much wrong here. He only has 2 unforced errors on the forehand, 2 unforced errors on the backhand. Very solid. Can he try to get this next point to give himself the set?
Close one there. Obviously, we have electronic line calling. There's one of the cameras that does it for bolt 6.
30-15.
About that one. Beautifully positioned, arcing away from the left-hander.
Yeah, 2 aces so far for Nakashima. Ben Shelton only has 1. I think those stats would be the other way.
Oh.
Creeping in here for Nakashima. He's been absolutely untroubled on service thus far, and then suddenly when he comes to serve it out to take the first set, finds himself 30 all.
Yeah, these are the points right here at 5-3, 30 all. He's going to go with his best play. He's going to go where he feels like he can hit a good first serve and give himself an easier +1. Let's see where he goes. I think for Ben Shelton, he knows that Shelton likes to chip that forehand return if he's under pressure. That's why he served there. Set point for Nakashima.
First time that Nakashima's been taken to juice on his service.
I had once again, 2 different changes of pace on the forehand. A high one, about 3 racket lengths over the net, and then a more juicier, fiery forehand on the second one, got the air.
He dictated that rally there, got Nakashima on the back foot.
Oh, big first serve from Nakashima. When he had set point Nakashima, he actually served down the tee. And then this time when he was down break point, he went out wide. So a good mix of serves there from Nakashima.
Shelton having a look at the line. It's not like Roland Garros where you can see the clay dust that's been moved away. I don't know what he was looking at there, but back to juice.
Another good change there. The prior deuce, he served to the forehand of Ben Shelton, and now this deuce, he went out wide. So really keeping Shelton on ice skates on the return.
Another set point for Nakashima.
down the middle of the court from Shelton. That's where he likes to go with his return. Over 50% on the forehand, on the first serve return and the second serve return down the middle.
Does like that service from the juice court, so the right-hand side where you serve when it's juice, as it was there, and curling it away from the left-hander's forehand and going all the way around onto the backhand, couldn't reach it. And it's another set point for Nakashima. Of apologies after the slightest of net cords there for Shelton. It keeps him alive though.
Yeah, Nakashima did absolutely nothing wrong there. Great depth on every single shot, and took the backhand early when it was short. But the athleticism from Shelton there to slide into the forehand, you can't teach that.
Yes, you can teach that, says his dad. I taught him.
Once again, just a big forehand, then a slower forehand, then a slice. Just so many different shots that were happening in that rally. Brought Nakashima forward, and then the lob. Too good.
Contest hands the break back to Shelton. We are back on service, 4-5 in the first.
Nakashima leads by 5 games to 4.
Well, various set points there against Shelton must have been the punch in the mouth that he required. I think Nakashima, he's been painting the lines, great depth with almost all of his shots so far, and then just when he needed it the most, the odd first service going a little bit long. Pressure. Beautiful day here at Melbourne Park, 25-6 in the evening. Look at that, bright sunshine. The alleyway is still full of patrons who got a grounds pass.
Time.
Thousands in today, tens of thousands enjoying what is the conclusion of the first round of the Australian Open 2025. Whittling it down from 128 to 64 on the men's and the women's sides. Plenty of Australians have got through, to the delight of the home crowd. One US player is going to get through here and one's going to go out. And it's anyone's guess which way this one's going to go at the moment. Shelton has just broken back and is serving. Still to stay in the set though.
as I mentioned before, when speaking with Brian Shelton earlier, he said sometimes Ben just needs to taste a little blood before he starts to bring things in action. And now he seems to be back on serve. See what he can muster up here. Brandon Nakashima has put 72% of his returns back in play, and that is a high percentage against such a great server like Ben Shelton. Big time stuff from Brandon Nakashima.
Yeah, that last service was 203 kilometers per hour, so over 125 miles per hour. Very strong on second service thus far, Shelton. 64% of points won on his second service, just 56 on his first service. That percentage has just gone up a little bit.
Yeah, that's crazy that is only the second ace of the match for Shelton. 9 games in.
He struggled on his first service, though. He's barely getting 50% of them in. And you think if that starts clicking, then maybe that is the point at which he will start to pull clear. But that second service.
Yeah, a lot of these second serves have just gotten so high up on Brandon's forehand or backhand. And actually, when he missed that return, Brandon, he kind of shook his head as if to say, hey, man, get up in the court or do something about that serve. Looked a little frustrated. We don't normally see that from Brandon Nakashima. Game point for Shelton.
Juice.
Mixes it up with a serve and volley. But once again, this is a break point that is also a set point.
Advantage, Nakashima.
Wasn't the greatest of services to come in behind, but he obviously got that idea in his head. Again, not blinking, Shelton.
Juice.
Yeah, Ben Shelton staying pretty cool in that point because Brandon Nakashima asked the question, put a lot of balls back in play. Tried to take the second serve a little bit earlier because the one prior got up so high on his backhand, then he missed it, and then that one just kind of scooted off his strings. A little bit more pace from Shelton, drew the air.
And an ace down the tee makes it 5-all. That was a gutsy performance by Shelton. Saved 5 set points already.
5 games sold.
finally, he's back on level terms. The last time he was level was at the coin toss.
Love.
Yeah, and if you're Brandon Nakashima, you just got to stay the course. He's been playing great tennis. Just a couple mistakes in some key moments, but some bigger pace from Shelton as well. But Brandon Nakashima, just stay the course. Keep playing 1 point at a time. That's the key. We don't see him normally use that play, but then when Ben Shelton got up there, normally a great play off a drop shot is a drop shot it in front of you, and that way you take away the angles from your opponent, and that's what drew the error here from Nakashima. There just weren't a lot of angles there because Ben Shelton was covering everything.
Big serving here from Nakashima when he needs it most.
Yeah, and Brandon Nakashima prefers that one out wide on the outside when he needs a point. Hits that one really well, right in the corner.
Comfortable hold for Nakashima. He leads it 6-5.
Nakashima leads by 6 games to 5.
Early change of shirt from Shelton. Early change of Guernsey.
Yeah, as you said, pretty warm out there today. And again, when the shirt gets too much sweat on it, then you're just carrying extra weight on yourself out there on the court. And it's 83 degrees right now here in Melbourne, but not a cloud in the sky, as you can see here.
Absolutely beautiful out there. As we look at the various show courts, 6 of them here at Melbourne Park. And just behind you have the MCG, Melbourne Cricket Ground, cricket and Australian rules football oval. Rod Laver Arena, Margaret Court Arena, Key Arena, 1573, court number 3, the John Cain Arena tucked away as well. 6 beautiful show courts. Shelton once again serving to stay in the set. He's done it twice before. And looking to take us into a tiebreaker. Reminder that it's best of 5. 5 tiebreak sets. Good when it comes off down the line for the win.
Yeah, that winner there is a 6th forehand winner off of that wing. Again, the shape over the net kept that in the court.
30 love.
That's always the trickiest part when playing Ben Shelton. You can hit so many different serves, fast serves, a little bit of extra slice, a little extra kick.
It's like a baseball pitcher who's got about 7 pitches in his arsenal. And
Let's.
Exactly right. When you're a server, you want to think of yourself as a pitcher. How can you throw off the returner?
what's next in the bag of tricks? It turns out it's serve and volley.
Yeah, Ben Shelton now 4 of 5 in his serve and volley points. Again, that's something he's really been focused on in the offseason, was getting to the net, working on his volley, transition game.
An ace, 219 kilometers per hour, his fastest serve of the contest thus far, 136 miles per hour, and it takes us to a tiebreaker.
Yeah, it only seems fitting, doesn't it? I mean, they played twice prior, Shelton winning both of them, but they had 4 sets, 3 of them were in tiebreaks. So,
and the other one was 7-5.
And the other one was 7-5. So they know exactly what this is all about. Every point is going to matter now.
First to 7, 2 points clear. Well, it's a good serve. You want a good serve and a good +1. And the service was absolutely fine from Nakashima, but the +1 maybe getting a little tight. And a mini break.
Yeah, and I think you just kind of feel the speed of your opponent across the net, right? You feel like Shelton's going to get whatever you hit, and then you go for something a little bit bigger. Still plenty of work to do for both players, though.
Well, Shelton came into this tiebreaker on the back of a service hold to love, finished it off with an ace. He's gifted the mini break early on. Real momentum shift here. He was 5-2 down, struggling on service, really gritted out the break back. And look at that, for the canniest of aces, curled down the tee. And all of a sudden he's in the box seat.
Yeah, and that toss went so far behind his head that Nakashima thought it was going to be a kick serve out wide, but Ben Shelton can move it to the tee as well. But if you're serving here in your Nakashima, look, still so much work to be done. Just focus on this point right here, 1 point at a time.
Hold.
Quite the swing in momentum in this match. Shelton having to fight tooth and nail just to take it to a tiebreaker. And here he finds himself 4 love up.
Smart from Nakashima there. You're down 4 love, but just focus on making a first serve, seeing what you get off the. You got the short ball, gave himself enough space around that approach shot.
Players change ends after 6 points. So Shelton will have 1 service from this end, 1 from the next. comes around to take it on the forehand, hits it inside out into the corner, and they're changing ends at 5-1.
Yeah, what set that up was the original forehand cross court, just higher over the net, getting it out of the strike zone of Nakashima. And then look how fast this one high cross, and look how fast he runs around. There's so many small steps to move forward into that next shot. That's how he got the extra pace on it. The intensity is there from Ben Shelton right now.
Hold. Five-two, Shelton.
One of the mini breaks handed back. Two services to come now for Nakashima. If he can hold both of these, then there will be a little bit of pressure on Shelton. There's one of them.
5-3.
Court positioning from Nakashima was so good, standing right on that baseline and even inside it, just taking time away from Ben Shelton. That's something Nakashima does extremely well.
Nakashima trying to rush into the net, has his pocket picked, and it's 3 set points now for Ben Shelton. 2 of them on his own racket. A seesaw first set that took an hour, went one way, then the other, and it's Ben Shelton, the number 21 seed, who roars his delight. He's taken the tiebreaker 7-3 and pockets the first set.
Yeah, one thing that I know about Brandon Nakashima, he's going to get right back to work. He's not going to let losing that first set even affect him at all. As we saw there, making the return, getting up to the short ball. As a tennis player, you have to kind of have the mind of a goldfish. You got to just move on to the next point, move on to the next set. Plenty of time.
Well, a double fault.
Yeah, that's only the first of the match for Ben Shelton. You look at Nakashima, he's jumping around. Love 30, he's jumping around on the return, showing Ben Shelton he's not going anywhere.
There's that second service, getting him out of jail again.
30-all. Fault.
Yeah, it's been interesting. The kick serves have really been affecting Nakashima. And when you have a kick serve like that, you really got to keep your feet moving. Once you stop moving your feet, that's when you get the errors creep in. You want to keep your feet moving, try to get that ball in the middle of the strings.
Shelton holds to 30, having been left 30 down.
First game, second set.
Shelton it is who has served to open this second set. It was Nakashima who served first in the first set, and then we got to 6-all. Nakashima served first in the tiebreaker, and that counts as a service game. Here being sun smart, you can see plenty of hats there.
Yeah, one side of the court's got quite a bit more shade than the other, so I think I'm seeing some fans try to move over to the shady side.
Changing ends every 2 games. Hard work there, Ben Shelton. Worked his way back into the point.
Fault. Love.
Oh, what a strike there from Ben Shelton.
30-15.
We haven't seen Nakashima. That's the first time Nakashima has served and volleyed, so he was trying to catch Ben Shelton off guard, but not that time. Once again, Nakashima kind of feeling the speed of Ben Shelton. He's so quick around the baseline, so that makes you feel like you got to go for the lines a little bit more, creating some unforced errors from your opponent. Great hold there from Nakashima. Being up 30 love, then having it come back to 30 all. Little tension, but 2 first serves got him out of a jam.
Out.
Better job there from Nakashima, getting up on that second serve, not letting the kick get above his head. You know, Nakashima is definitely going to make some adjustments on some of those second serve returns. That's been what's been affecting him so far. From Ben Shelton, that he absolutely loves those plays. Again, when I was in Orlando over the offseason in December, Ben Shelton now lives in Orlando, trains out of the USTA facility, but he works a lot on these drop shots and kind of now he knows the angles of what's going to come off of that ball. That's what makes it look so simple there for him when it actually happens in a match.
Very calm volley to finish it off.
Out.
A little bit frustrated with his first service percentage, though. Be frustrated with that as well.
15-13.
One way to get rid of some of the frustration. An unreturnable service, 219 kilometers per hour. That's his fastest so far.
Out. 40-13.
Big serving from Shelton, and he holds. He leads by a set and 2-1.
Shelton leads by 2-1.
Change of racket for Shelton because new balls are coming. Players like to do that. Balls will fly through the air a little bit more quickly. So you want a racket where the stringing is absolutely perfect. 6 in the evening here, still plenty of fans coming into and out of Melbourne Park. Grounds pass gets you in all day. And then there will be those waiting to come in and go on to the main show courts for the evening's action.
Time.
The two fans there doing the Gator chop. Ben Shelton went to University of Florida, the Florida Gators. Quite a few Americans in the stand going for both of these players. What a move from Brandon Nakashima, and it's interesting to even think Brandon Nakashima, now 35 in the world, was in the qualifying here last year, and he lost first round to Jakub Mensik, who's currently 49 in the world, and Jakub Mensik beat Ben Shelton first round of Auckland last week. So the line is so thin, so many great players on the tennis tour.
Yes, Nakashima was comfortably inside the top 100 towards the end of 2023 and then started to slip down the rankings and just found himself on the outside looking in. 128 spots in the first round, but obviously 16 of those are put on one side for qualifiers. You have wild cards as well, so you need to be inside the top 100, around 97, 98 to get in through direct acceptance. Otherwise, you run the risk of being knocked out in qualifying in the first round, and it's a long way to come to go home after one match a week before the tournament starts.
There from Nakashima. Again, a lot of spin on this forehand pass, and Nakashima knows he's got to put a little bit more underspin when he's got such a heavy topspin forehand coming at him. Did it to perfection.
Shelton read that well, saw the ball toss, knew where it was going.
Yeah, one thing we're starting to see from Shelton is him changing his return position a little bit more, trying to make Nakashima think about his targets. As a returner, you want to move around, not always show the same spot.
Hold for Nakashima. 2 apiece in the second set.
2 games all.
Sun setting over court 1573, so half of the court still in direct sunshine and half of the fans as well. Those are the ones mopping their brows at the moment and wearing hats.
Yeah, what do you think? I see a lot of fans wearing hats, and some of the coaches putting towels over their legs, towels over their head, just trying to get the UV rays away.
Someone there with a hoodie on.
Yeah, the sun has been beating down today.
15.
See though, half of the court now in shade, more or less. There it is, the canopies over both sides of 1573 court, the stands to protect the fans. As the sun sets, that shade's going to move across the court. Here's Shelton complaining there before that one even landed.
Yeah, that's the 14th unforced error off the forehand. He only has 4 off the backhand. Ben Shelton sometimes pulls off of that forehand a little too quickly, as we saw there. He's got to stay down a little bit longer on the forehand.
Lens for service.
Putting on a second service clinic at the moment is Shelton.
30-all.
Yeah, as you said, winning 64% of his second serve points in Shelton, and doing a great job of just keeping his feet moving, knowing that return's going to come quick because Nakashima is such a great returner. Got to be ready for that +1 ball. It must be nice to have that in your bag. Just a little extra pace anytime you need it. That was 205 kilometers an hour, easy power. Catching even the great returner Nakashima off guard.
An emphatic overhead put away from Shelton. It's on service in the second. He leads 3-2.
Shelton leads by 3 games to 2.
Best of 5 sets this match, so the players taking on a little bit of extra energy as best they can. Gone are the days of bananas, I'm tempted to say. Used to be a bunch of bananas down there.
Yeah, you typically see more of the players with kind of the power gels to get a little bit of extra caffeine. You know, that's kind of what you want, is just a little bit extra pep in your step. Obviously, the bananas are helping the cramping, but more so these days is the gels that go in the system a bit quicker. Yeah, we've seen some pickle juice as well. We saw Alcaraz calling for pickle juice at the Roland Garros last year.
I remember Stan Wawrinka calling for a coffee, an espresso in Paris, but the indoor tournament towards the end of the season in Bercy, and it was gone midnight, and it was brought to him and presented on underneath the cloche with a big flourish.
Yeah, they used to have even Cokes as well. Coca-Cola is on the court for the players, but in these hot conditions, you want to get a little bit more sodium, a little bit more electrolytes. I had a big cramping issue when I played, and so I used to put salt in my drinks, just a little teaspoon of salt, just to keep that sodium in my system.
Well judged there.
15-all.
I'm alongside a great doubles player in Nick Munro. I remember another great doubles player, Frew McMillan, telling me which bananas to pick, and you had to go for the ones with the brown spots on them. Those were the ones with sugar. It was interesting. The bananas were getting a bit rotten, and it was turning to sugar in there. So those are the best ones for energy.
Learn something new every day. I didn't know that.
There we go.
I have to write that down.
Yes, forget your energy gels. Get yourself a brown banana that's been hanging around in the kitchen.
And a lot of players aren't really going to tell you what they do, but everyone's looking for that little bit of an edge. How can they get a little bit of extra energy out there? Of hydration, I moved to Austin, Texas about 12 years ago, and it was because Andy Roddick was living there, so we were training together for about 6-7 years and had the same fitness trainer, and he was big on us drinking a bottle of water an hour when we were off of the court to keep our cells hydrated, for our body to feel better. And so Andy was religious on that. I did a good job myself, but sometimes it was 1 bottle every 2 hours. But especially in these conditions, you want to stay as hydrated as you can.
Sheer power elicits gasps from the crowd on 1573.
I mean, he's got such a fast wrist, does Ben Shelton, off of that forehand wing. And you see the wrist there, get the ball so quickly, and then this one's just easy money for him, just waiting for Nakashima to move at the net. But Nakashima still has a game point here.
Cain.
And he takes it. 3 apiece in the second set.
3 games all.
Ben Shelton was actually looking over to his dad, Brian, as if to say, okay, where should I serve this first point? And players are always trying to get that first point. If you can get up 15 love, just get that positive mindset in the game.
Hold.
The father of Ben Shelton, Brian Shelton, actually in the box there also is Ben's agent, Tony Gotzik, who's with Team 8. Same agent with Roger Federer, Coco Gauff.
Hold. 13-15.
Second double fault from Ben Shelton. Both of them coming in this set.
Hold.
Once again, it's that second service of his.
14-15.
Finishes it off with an ace, a hole to 15. Shelton leads by a set and 4-3.
Leads by 4 games to 3.
That's exactly how you like to finish off a tough game, is if you can find an ace to get through it. And then now we see Ben Shelton asking for them to put up the shade. I think the ball girl's going to bring an umbrella. Anything to keep the UV rays off of the body.
Just 1 minute at the changeovers nowadays. You can see the clock ticking down to the right of the center of the screen.
Time.
You live here in Australia. What's the best way to kind of keep the sun off you? What sunscreen are you using these days?
My wife's actually a dermatology nurse, so I wear a lot of sunscreen and a hat and long sleeves. And
it's always got to be a trick.
Sunglasses. It started off with slip, slap, slop, which was slip on a t-shirt, slap on a hat, slop on some sunscreen. And now they've added 3 or 4 more onto that.
Nakashima got exactly the ball that he wanted. He likes to power into his backhand. You know, if it doesn't get it out of his strike zone, he can really redirect it extremely well. Brandon Nakashima, as he did with that backhand down the line, would set up the short ball, but that ball just got a little too close into his body. He wasn't able to extend his arm, which created the error.
I was going to say we're edging towards the end of the second set. We're edging towards tiebreak territory again. Maybe nerves are going to creep in, and then of course Nakashima does that. A beautifully positioned ace curling away from Shelton's backhand. 7th ace of the match
for service
for Nakashima. Powerful service into the body, 202 kilometers per hour. Neither player backing down, neither player blinking at the moment. These two, just as a reminder, they've never played a set where the winner has won it with 6. It's either been 7-5 or 7-6 in all 5 they've played so far, including the first set today.
Great job for Brandon Nakashima to fend off that body serve, because that thing came in with some serious heat. Once again, getting another short ball, and that's the one he wanted, but missing that approach shot. Just got to bring your target in a little bit. Ask the question of Shelton, can he make the pass, especially in this key situation?
15. Let for service.
How about that for a second service ace? We've been talking about the fact that his second service has got him out of jail. That wasn't a second service, that was a first service. 214. So around 133 miles per hour. Once again enables Shelton to hold. 5-4. Nakashima will have to serve to stay in the second set.
By 5 games to 4.
Yeah, that's impressive hitting from Ben Shelton, holding his ground on the baseline. Great depth from Nakashima on these balls, but again, just a quick flick of the wrist gets that ball up and down. Look at that flick there. Both players trying to dig deep, trying to find any chink in the armor.
It's a real 180-degree flick of the wrist there in the blink of an eye from Shelton.
Time.
Shelton up and on his toes. Nakashima takes a little bit longer to compose himself as he prepares to serve to stay in the second set. Reminder that he had 5 set points in the first set, failed to take them.
Yeah, smart second serve there from Nakashima. A little bit slower on the second serve because he saw how far Ben Shelton was behind the baseline. So he knew Ben Shelton would have to try to create his own pace and ultimately getting an error on the next ball. Very smart from Nakashima.
Defense into attack to absolute perfection, and then fluffed his lines once he got to the net.
Yeah, but this is exactly where you have the mind of a goldfish.
Please do not call out during the rally. As you can see, you can put off the players. Thank you.
You got to see that that was a great point. You got the shot that you wanted to finish it, and then you just move on to the next one.
A hole to love for Nakashima.
5 games over.
Balls getting to the end of their shelf life, got a couple of games to go, so Shelton trying to pick the ones that look as smooth as possible and haven't been fluffed up over the past 7 games.
That's been a play that's been working for Ben Shelton, using the short slice to try to bring Nakashima in and then finding the passing shot. But there, Nakashima again put the approach shot into a bigger target, tried to make Ben Shelton pass off the backhand, wasn't able to. But smart from Nakashima, find the big targets.
Come on. Out. 15 all. Out.
Longest rally of the contest thus far. Nervous times. We're in the 11th game of this set. It was 15 all. Players knowing that every mistake now almost counts double.
That's for sure. And Nakashima, just the depth on every shot was just so impressive. Never seems like Nakashima's heart rate goes up at all. Stays so cool, calm, and collected.
15-30 Shelton, and a little bit of a hole.
Ben Shelton's dad, Brian Shelton, got up on his feet just there after that serve, knew how important that serve was just to get back to 30 all. And it seems like Ben Shelton is attacking that forehand return of Nakashima when he needs a point. So if I'm Nakashima, I'm giving myself a little bit more space behind the baseline to be able to make that return.
Yes, neither player is really doing a rougher at Roland Garros or a Medvedev. They're not treading on the ball kid's toes.
Not quite yet.
That was a big hold for Ben Shelton, having been love 15 and 15-30 down. He now leads 6-5.
Shelton leads by 6 games to 5.
little way away from a conclusion yet, but the winner of this match will face either Pablo Carreño Busta of Spain, the veteran Spaniard, I'm tempted to say, and the winner of Carreño Busta, and Kamil Majkerczak, a Polish qualifier. As part of the draw, you've got the likes of Denis Shapovalov, Lorenzo Musetti. A little bit further up, you then have Taylor Fritz, the number 4 seed.
Starting to really get into this one. I've heard a few "Let's Go Shelton" chant. Also Nakashima.
Nakashima it is, once again serving to stay in the set. He did it at 4-5 quite comfortably. That's a lot less comfortable.
Yeah, that's the first double fault of this set, second of the match. Again, maybe the change of return position for Shelton is changing the mind of Nakashima where he wants to go.
Yes, you can see he's a little bit further back at the top of your screen there, Shelton. Both players go to towel off. He's still hot out there. Almost 6:45 in the evening, but it was more for Nakashima to compose himself. Love 30. The first service that suddenly seems to have deserted him. Whatsoever on his service throughout this set, all of a sudden Nakashima finds himself love 40 down. 3 set points for Ben Shelton.
Nakashima, you just want to make first serves here. You don't want to get caught trying to hit a second serve and defending. Great first serve there.
He needs another 2. Shelton again standing further back. Ben Shelton breaks in the 12th game, and there's no coming back from that. He takes the second set to a 2-love lead. Takes the second set 7.
Love team. Let's for service. Love 13.
the kind of thing that can happen. One player gets a late break or wins a set in a tiebreaker, comes out to serve in the next set thinking, oh, the hard work's done. All of a sudden they find themselves love 30 down, take their eye off the ball. Back to 15-30 here for Shelton. Ramping that one up, 221 kilometers per hour. That's 137 miles per hour. And then that second service, the kick, the arch of the back, the angle of the racket, keeping Nakashima guessing every time. 21 of 34 points on his second service, compared with 10 of 23 for Nakashima.
Out.
Good job he's winning these second service points, because he's only getting 59% of his first services in. Bang! Down the line for the win. Love 30 to a hole to 30.
First game, third sets.
What a way to finish that game, with just a scorching forehand winner. That's 14 off the racket for Ben Shelton. The crowd is starting to get a little bit more involved. They want to see some more tennis, trying to get Nakashima going. Smart play from Nakashima, though. He saw how far back behind the baseline he had Ben Shelton, and you know, tennis is about geometry. When you have your opponent really far back behind the court, then you want to land a little bit short on the next one. Couldn't quite find it there. For Brandon Nakashima, he's in a tricky spot. His career 5-set record is 1-5. He's had no comebacks from down 2 sets to love.
sets per service.
Cain, Nakashima. Good service to finish off a hole to 15.
One game on.
Yeah, even when you're down 2 sets to love, there's still plenty of tennis to be played. So you can't really think about the fact you're down 2 sets to love. You just got to play each point on its own merit. Focus on the game plan that you have at hand.
Nothing's changed for him. He's still got to win 3 sets. That was the case 2 hours ago. He's still got to find a way past Ben Shelton, as has been the case for the past 2 hours.
Love 15.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we've seen throughout the course of this match was the amount of returns that Nakashima was making early on in the match and really causing a lot of confusion for Ben Shelton. But now Ben Shelton started to mix the serves a little bit more. Brandon Nakashima can't seem to get a beat on it. So you'd almost like to see Nakashima change his return position around a little bit. When you have a server that's in such a rhythm like Ben Shelton is, you want to just show him something different. Even if he aces you the other way, just get in the head of your opponent.
Shelton picking his spots very well. A couple of services ago from the ad court, he went way out wide to the backhand. That one was a body serve. Beautifully done, flat over the lowest part of the net. Shelton holds and leads 2-1 in the 3rd set. That's how close the call was. And it was perfectly placed just on the inside of the line. Playing a very calm figure today, Ben Shelton. He's got a lot of personality to him. Oh, you can tell we're in Australia. You got the seagulls out there.
What a costume. I love that. I need to get that for my next Halloween.
Halloween, yep, sure. You wouldn't want to be wearing it today, would you? You'd be pretty hot in there.
Jeez, that must be hot. Great for the kids, though.
Time.
Shelton back out is always the quicker of the two. Always keen to get underway. Why wouldn't he be? He leads by 2 sets and 2-1 in the third. Setting sun and the canopies describing some very intricate patterns over 1573 court.
Out.
Great volley there from Nakashima. One thing that's been interesting throughout this match, I mean, we know that coaching is allowed now, and Ben Shelton's been getting a lot of advice from his dad. He's been going over to get a towel, asking what should I do on return serve. We haven't seen a lot of that from Nakashima, and I think his coach Mariano Puerta, who's sitting there, would want to maybe chime in and help out in this kind of a situation when you're down 2 sets to love. But, you know, there are some players, you know, we didn't have coaching for the longest time, right? So a lot of times you have to figure it out on your own, and I like that as well, though, from Nakashima. He's like, you know what, I'm going to work on it. I'm going to figure it out.
He's got Mariano Puerta in his corner. 2005 Roland Garros finalist. That was the first year that Rafael Nadal won.
Decent guy to lose to.
Well, it was his one chance to win, I think. Until everyone he took a set off Rafa, though. He took the first set and off this upstart teenager, and then yes, as everyone then found over the next 2 decades, that easier said than done, beating Rafael Nadal at Roland Garros, 14 titles.
Yeah, Nakashima's also been working with another coach, David Sanguinetti, former number 42 in the world, and got 2 great coaches on his side, but the only one that's here this 2 weeks is Mariano Puerta. Not much you can do about that serve.
Or indeed that one.
Yeah, and it, you know, it reminds you a little bit of Roger Federer, right? Just kind of a great front runner is Shelton. He's up 2 sets to love. He's just really running through the serves right now. Not taking the full 25 seconds, trying to take time away from Nakashima. Once again, that's the change of pace that has affected Nakashima, and it's gotten so high over his head. You'd almost want to see him get closer inside the court on that return or move further back. Fun out here if you're Ben Shelton at 40 love. Has a wry smile on his face.
Everything's so low over the net prior to that point. That one just a bit too low.
Yeah, but that's when you feel like you're feeling pretty good about your game, when you try to hit one of these shots.
I can be a little bit loose. 40 love, what's the worst that can happen? And then it's 40-30.
Yeah, getting a little bit tighter here.
Close, but it is indeed a hold. Shelton leads in the third set, 3-2.
Shelton leads by 3 games to 2.
That's a jacket and a half there on that gentleman bottom left. Matching shades as well. It's a strong look, as they say. Similarly colourful is Ben Shelton. Very composed.
Time.
A minute at the changeovers, and the play is taking just that little bit longer now as it gets warmer. 7 o'clock in the evening has ticked around as we look at Garden Square. Plenty of people enjoying some early evening sun here in Melbourne Park, watching the action on the big screen. The evening session is going to start on 3 main show courts. And we're into the 3rd set here on 1573. All-American derby between the number 35 in the world serving, Nakashima, and the number 22 in the world, Shelton.
15 love.
Great job for Nakashima, just recognizing the shorter ball to come in on.
30 love.
12 of 22, net points 1 for Nakashima. Oh, that's a slider from Nakashima. That's one of his favorite serves out wide on the deuce side. Throughout 2024, he'd go 52% out wide on that deuce side as opposed to 42% down the tee. This is just a quick flick of the wrist from Ben Shelton. Knew he had to go for the winner. He was so out of position there, but caught the outside part of the ball.
Oh.
Be careful with that one, Shelton. When you've got that much time to think about it, you can change your mind, have 5 different options and end up choosing the 6th one, which is completely and utterly fluffing it.
Yeah, and you know, look, no ball is too easy to miss. So even when it's a floater like that, you got to get your feet up there as quick as you can. That way you can find more angles. I think Ben Shelton telling the umpire, hey, if you can turn your iPad or pad to the side, it's got a little glare in my face.
Cain. Nakashima.
Good service and a good hold from Nakashima, keeping pace once again. It's these two. Should we just take it automatically to 5-all and then say let's start from here?
Yeah, I mean, sure, why not?
That's a bit next gen, isn't it? It's,
yeah.
It's always innovating, and the next gen, which Nakashima won a few years ago. It's sets of first to 4 and a lot of innovation there.
Out.
Yeah, I think that next gen is just an amazing tournament. Such a good look into the future of tennis. We saw João Fonseca win it in 2024. Now he's on a 13-match win streak. Got through qualies here, playing in his first round later today. And if you haven't seen Fonseca play, he is one to watch. He's actually hitting his forehand the third hardest on the ATP Tour right now as far as speed is concerned. Ranked 121 in the world, and Jim from Brazil. And if you're Ben Shelton, this is just what the doctor ordered. You'd like a quick game here. They've been on the court
40 love.
for quite a while now, and he'd just like a quick hold if he could.
It's a long tournament, 7 rounds, best of 5.
And Ben went down.
A little backward roll.
Sometimes when you're so quick and he's so used to sliding, that's the tricky part there, right? He tried to slide into that with the forehand, and shoe got a little stuck.
Let's for service.
Come on, says Shelton. He holds to 15 and leads 4-3 in his 2 sets to the good.
Shelton leads by 4 games to 3.
I have the world's weakest ankle, so every time I see a player trying to slide on a hard court, my heart's in my mouth, not to mention my ankle ligaments.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't do that in practice. You don't practice that shot, but when you're moving as fast as these players
Unless you're Gael Monfils.
Yeah, but when you're moving as fast as these players are, that's just what happens. You know, you're moving so quickly, you can put the leg out and get that extra slide.
I'm sure Gael Monfils isn't doing it on his 38-year-old ankles. Not in practice, but he's still going strong, isn't he?
God, what a win from Gael Monfils today over Pechi Pericard, the big server from France that we've seen. Gael Monfils winning it in 4 sets.
Time.
Four 3. We're creeping towards the end of a set once again. Nothing to choose between them once again.
Love team. Love 13.
Shades of the 12th game of the previous set. Nakashima having looked very comfortable and then all of a sudden finding himself in a little bit of a hole. Just love 30 here. You still don't want to be love 30 at any time on your own service.
15-13.
Nakashima going to his bread and butter there, that out wide serve. Again, using that 52% of the time in his matches in 2024. Can hit that one in his sleep.
Lens for service. Out.
Yeah, I like that from Nakashima, just asking the question, right? You're down 15-30. You don't try to wait for something to happen. You want to make it happen. But that backhand strike was so much pace off of the court. Look how far Ben Shelton was behind the court. Tough to come up with a lob there. Again, you want to try to make something happen in these pressure moments.
Just out. The come on from Ben Shelton hit the automated voice of the electronic line call. It was out, and so this is a break point. And at this stage of the game, Shelton leading by 2 sets and 4-3. This is what you would call a virtual match point. Pressure. What pressure?
Yeah, once again, Brandon Nakashima coming up with another great first serve under pressure. He's continued to do that throughout this match.
210 kilometers per hour. That's as fast as he's managed to serve thus far in this contest. 130 miles per hour.
Out.
Chose the wrong side, Shelton, in the penultimate shot.
Yeah, interesting choice there for Ben Shelton to go with the cross-court approach shot, because Nakashima was already standing in that corner, and also the backhand pass from Nakashima is just a little bit better, I would say, than the forehand. The backhand, it's more lower over the net, whereas the forehand is going to have a little bit more shape on it, easier for the volley. And also, he would have kept Nakashima on the move, but now game point for Brandon Nakashima.
An ace down the tee that just clips the back of the tee. 203 kilometers per hour, and he wriggles off the hook. 4-all. It's worth watching again in a beautiful slow motion. Right on the tee.
Out.
Brandon Nakashima did a better job of trying to step up in the court. He didn't want to let that kick stroke get over his head, but wasn't able to get enough slice on that ball. You still want to try to step into that return, get your body weight moving forward.
Out.
So is that part of the training routine in Orlando, just catching the ball, ladling it and keeping it beautifully on your on your strings?
Part of his training routine. He's got it down to a T.
Out.
It's the right idea, but he was trying to go over the highest part of the net.
Out.
Brandon Nakashima tried to move back on that one and try to let it come down into his strike zone, but once again the body weight didn't move forward through that return, just kind of popped up. Ben Shelton a couple game points now.
Lens for service.
Another hold for Shelton. We're getting nearer to the end of this set. He leads 5-4.
Shelton leads by 5 games to 4.
You wonder how many singlets he's got in his bag. Quite a few there. He's just tossing to one side. Yep, there's the pile of, there's the laundry pile.
Yeah, I remember during the US Open, speaking with Francis Tiafoe, and he was pretty much going through his shirt every changeover, so he said he had 30 shirts in his bag. And well, I'll have to ask Ben how many he's got after this match. We'll get back to you.
Well, if he wins this, he's going to have a lot of souvenirs that he can give out to the fans. Rather drenched souvenirs that they're probably going to have to handle with latex gloves if they're picking them up. We take a look at the incredible show courts here at Melbourne Park. They're not swapping their shirts with anyone. Matching items. He's not swapping his shirt with anyone, so he's got the matching shades.
Would love to see some more tennis. As you said, it's cooling down in a way, especially if you're sitting in the shade.
Struggling to get the new singlet on over the sweat. Always difficult to get off when you've been sweating that much. New balls for Nakashima as he serves to stay in the match.
Out. Let's for service.
Oh, what a backhand down the line from Nakashima. He's just so clean with this shot. You see how he steps up in the court and has his body weight moving forward as he hits this. Doesn't let it get above his shoulders, right in the honey hole. Boomba.
Well, we've got to the contractually obliged score of 5-all between these two. And they met before in Houston, 7-5, 7-6. In Washington, 7-6, 7-6. Here today, 7-6, 7-5, 5-all.
Love 15.
And love 15. The ball's still relatively new here for Shelton to be serving with. It was almost chin music, that was. That body serve.
Yeah, you heard the yeses from Ben Shelton, knowing how important this game is, how important good first serves are here. Try to set up a +1 if he can.
Patience and then variety from Shelton. It has been the case throughout the match.
Yeah, the variety's been impeccable off the Shelton racket. At one point, I thought he was going to take the forehand down the line just to keep Nakashima on the move. But if you can change the pace, the height, the spin in one direction, that'll work as well.
finish it off. 6-5. Nakashima will have to come out and serve to stay in the match once again in 1 minute's time.
Shelton leads by 6 games to 5.
Presumably the one on the left is a club tennis player. I like that t-shirt. It says, "Nah, just out, mate," which is the call in many a club match.
I need one of those shirts. I have to Google that, find out where he got it. Yeah, much more comfortable for the fans.
Time.
Temperature's a little more comfortable for the fans now at almost 7:30 in the evening. A lot less comfortable for Brandon Nakashima. Once again, he has to serve to take it into a tiebreaker, serving to stay in the match.
Shots like that from Ben Shelton. Absolutely electric. Great approach shot from Brandon Nakashima. Got his opponent on the move. But then you definitely have to try to cover that shot. That's pretty much the only shot that you can hit is that down the line because he was so much on the stretch.
Yes, if you're going to come in, you need to come in with commitment, not half-heartedly.
Halt. Please.
Depth from Nakashima and then coming in just at the right time.
Yeah, that's the 9th winner off the forehand wing from Nakashima. And he waited for the right ball to go for, right? That ball in the middle of the court. This is something these pros drill every single day. Have their coach just feed them balls in the middle of the court and let the racket head go.
Halt.
Once again, a ball in the middle of the court created an error, a winner from the opponent. This one in the middle just wasn't quite deep enough. Shelton able to take advantage.
First love 15, now 15-30. Shelton there just 2 points away. Nakashima suddenly struggling to find a first service, as was the case when he tried to serve out in the first set. Shelton knows that then was not the moment for an unforced error. Great defense, great patience from Shelton. Not rushing on those slices. And that sets up the first match point. Shelton steps in a little bit. Over the net and keeps Nakashima in the tournament.
Incredible defense here from Nakashima. Little squash shot, a little extra slice, making Shelton come in. And as you said, a little lady luck off the let cord with the pass. Back to deuce. 5 minutes into this game. Such importance.
What a service return. Sets up a second match point.
Ben Shelton sat on that wide serve, knowing Nakashima's been going there on big moments. And now he's got another match point.
He's been listening to his coach. He's been listening to you as well, Nick. He knows where those services are going to go from the juice court and what we're going to see from the ad court. Match point number 2.
Such a great mix there from Nakashima. On that ad side. It's normally 44% out down the tee, 40% out wide. So much more of an equal mix on the ad side. Back to deuce.
Good defensive tennis from Shelton. He was further back behind the baseline. Forced the unforced error, as it were. Will the third time be the charm? Match point number 3. Floats wide and Ben Shelton is through. He has defeated Brandon Nakashima in straight sets, but in such a tight contest. 7-6, 7-5, 7-5 in 2 hours and 40 minutes to advance to the second round. Bit of a flex at the end, as you would expect from a 20.